Hey guys, welcome back. Andrew here with Ambient Endeavors, and today we're taking a look at a brand new pedal from Keeley Electronics. It's the RK2000 Funk Siren Delay, and even if you're not specifically a big fan of Phish or Trey Anastasio, I think there's a lot to love about this new RK2000 from the perspective of an ambient leaning guitar player. So we're going to dive into it, but first, if you're new to the channel here, thanks so much for watching and clicking on the video. Please hit subscribe below to stay up on all future videos, and drop a question or a comment below if you've got it, and we'll chat down in the comments. So today we're talking about the RK2000. At its core, it's a stereo digital delay that was designed to mimic the DM2000 rack delay unit from the early 80s that was made popular by Trey Anastasio from Phish. It's sort of an over-engineered digital delay with some fun bells and whistles that we'll get to here in the video, but it's kind of got some tricks up its sleeve that really can be fun and inspirational in the ambient context. At its core, it's a stereo digital delay, and so you've got the standard control set that you'd expect. You have a blend control up top here, which is your delay mix, feedback control for the delay repeats, and then a really powerful filter that we'll hone in on in the first set of sound samples that on the left-hand side gives you a high-pass filter, and on the right-hand side gives you a low-pass filter to really be able to kind of carve and shape the character of the delay repeats, even on this digital delay unit, to some tape-like textures or some more warmer analog delay type sounds. Then you've got your depth and your rate controls here for an LFO section that gives you a huge range of modulation sounds that we'll also touch on throughout the video. You've got your delay time control in the middle here, and then on the left an input control, which also is a really cool addition and adds some character and some saturation to the input signal of the delay here. We're going to lean pretty hard into that along with the filter throughout this video because I think it does a really cool job of transforming a digital delay into something that has some character and some grit and some color in a cool way. A lot of times I find with digital delays that can just be somewhat sterile or a little bit uninspiring. And so we're just going to kind of flex the muscles of that input control to add some saturation, some grit, and also play around with that filter control to explore the range of different tonalities and characters you can get from this digital delay. Continuing on, you've got a little button here that allows you to flip the phase of the delay repeats. And then on the right here, a button to engage or disengage the modulation section. Below here, you've got a foot switch that is your bypass control to turn the pedal on and off. It also is the tap tempo control. So if you hold it down for a few seconds, it will go into tap tempo mode and give you 8 seconds to tap in your delay tempo. After that 8 seconds, it just goes back to bypass mode. So it's kind of a convenience on the fly there to not have to remember the certain button presses or holds to get into and out of modes. So that's nice. And then when you're in tap tempo mode, this little button up top here allows you to cycle through subdivisions if you would like to do that too. And then on the right, you have this hold foot switch, which is a really cool feature of this pedal and a really notable feature of that original rack unit. Essentially, when you press it down, you create this micro loop of the sound that you just played. And so you can use this for longer delay settings to capture a little phrase. You can also use it to create some sort of ambiance in the background to play over top of. But it's a really fun and inspiring and creative part of this pedal to allow you to grab those micro loops and just kind of go from there. And then at the top of the pedal, you've got your stereo ins and outs. You've got an input for TRS remote control, which you noticed in the intro track of the video there. That allows you to remotely control either the hold function or the modulation to turn that on or off. So that's another convenience and kind of a way to add some external control to those functions. And then you've also got expression or MIDI input over TRS here too, which allows you to control any number of parameters via MIDI if you want to do that. So that's the RK2000. We're going to get into some sound samples now and hear how it sounds. I'm playing a PRS S2 Vela into a Keeley Mantis for a little bit of overdrive, and then onto the RK2000 and the Keeley Noctur for a little bit of reverb. We're going to explore the kind of fundamental tones of this RK2000 and then really get into the range of both that input control to add some saturation along with the filter control to kind of change the texture and the voice of the delay. Let's check it out. So like I mentioned earlier, the RK2000 I think is a really fun and powerful tool if you're someone who likes to live in those ambient contexts or kind of write or play the more ethereal soundscapey type sounds. And it's also one that created some pretty instant inspiration for me in that intro track with that hold function. And so we're going to demonstrate now how you can use that hold function to kind of grab a micro loop and then be able to play over top of it, just to pretty quickly get into some ambient leaning territory, or just kind of do some live looping without the need for an elaborate looping setup. So let's check out the hold function here and see kind of the possibilities it can unlock. The last section we're going to focus in on is the LFO section here. You've got your depth and your rate controls, like I mentioned, and a really huge range of sounds and effect types that you can get, from a more subtle vibrato or chorus effect to some really wild, pitch jumpy, kind of experimental sounds too. So we're going to dive into that and just kind of show you that range and show you the possibilities with that LFO section. For me, I really love that you can get those almost analog delay type textures by adding a little bit of saturation with the input control and then dialing up a more subtle chorus or vibrato modulation with a little bit darker of a delay repeat. But then you have this huge expanse of different sounds and settings on top of that get into the weird and wild and experimental territories. And so that's kind of the fun of the RK2000, is that they left, a ton of different sounds inside this pedal, and you can just kind of explore and navigate your way around them here. So we're going to lean into the LFO section. We're going to hear it in sort of a modulated delay context, and also hear how you can dial the time down to 0 here and get just chorus and vibrato type effects from this pedal as well. Let's check it out. So that's the RK2000 Funk Siren Delay, and a delay that, whether you're a Phish fan or whether you're a more ambient leaning kind of soundscape and sound design type player, I think there's a ton that it offers, and a really fun array of sounds and textures that you can get from it here. So go check it out. Thanks for watching, and again, drop any questions or comments you've got below and we'll chat down in the comments. Take care.